All right, so you're prepping for that store manager interview, huh? Well, we are diving deep today into Interview Prep's 20 most common store manager interview questions and answers.
Ooh, yeah, this is a good one.
Yeah, and this is going to be like your cheat sheet
Exactly.
to totally crush it. Interviews can be scary,
They are.
so we want to make sure you feel confident and ready to wow them.
Absolutely.
So let's jump right in.
Okay.
First question, what strategies do you use to motivate and engage your team? I feel like everyone says they can motivate a team, but how do you actually prove it?
Yeah, you got to show them. Don't tell them.
Right.
Like, instead of just saying, I foster a positive environment, which we all know is important,
Yeah.
you've got to get specific. Did you start like a peer recognition program?
Out of the good.
And did that boost morale?
Oh.
Or like maybe you revamped the training process and you saw people getting more confident and then their performance was measurable.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. So think about those concrete examples. And anytime you can actually quantify the impact,
Right.
instead of just saying, I improved sales, tell them, I introduced a new product display strategy and sales went up 15% in 3 months.
Oh, that's great. I love that. Okay, let's talk about a tough one. Describe a time when you had to make a difficult decision as a store manager.
Ooh, yeah,
This one seems like it's all about thinking on your feet and handling pressure.
it is. It is.
Mm.
And this is where you really show them how you analyze things and that you're committed to the best solution, even when it's not easy.
Right.
So just like briefly set the scene for them, walk them through how you made the decision, and then highlight the outcome.
But I'm guessing it's not just about the outcome.
Right. No, no, no. The most important part is what you learned from it. Did this whole thing teach you about communication? Or maybe it solidified how you approach conflict resolution?
So it's less about bragging about being right and more about showing that you can learn and grow.
Exactly. Because everyone makes mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
But great leaders, they learn from them.
Okay, let's talk about every retail manager's favorite thing, customer complaints. How do you handle customer complaints or disputes in the store? I mean, sometimes the customer is not right.
Oh, absolutely.
So how do you deal with that?
This question goes beyond just customer service.
Okay.
It shows if you can stay calm, if you can listen,
Mm-hmm.
and really try to find solutions that work with the store's policies
And make the customer happy.
and make the customer happy.
Yeah. What if the policies just make things worse?
You have to find a balance. Acknowledge their concerns, empathize with their frustration, but gently guide them to solutions that you can actually control.
Okay.
Maybe you offer them a similar product or explain the return policy really clearly, and sometimes you just got to escalate to a manager
Right.
if it's appropriate.
So it's about finding that common ground.
Yes.
All right, so let's move on from complaints to setting sales goals, because that's something every store manager has to do. Explain how you would go about setting sales goals for your team. So are they looking for like some kind of secret formula here?
Not really. It's more about strategy.
Okay.
They want to see that you use data and don't just pull numbers out of thin air.
Mm-hmm.
So think about trends, past performance seasonality, any upcoming product launches.
Yeah.
And, don't forget to talk to your team.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, they're the ones on the front lines dealing with customers, and they know about product demand.
So it's a team effort.
It is.
You bet.
When you involve your team, they feel more ownership over those goals.
Okay, now let's get into the operations side a little bit. What experience do you have with inventory management and loss prevention? This sounds like it's time to impress them with your behind-the-scenes knowledge.
It is. Now's the time to show off your expertise about inventory control systems. You could even mention some specific methods like just-in-time or Kanban and how they help to optimize stock levels and reduce waste.
That sounds impressive.
Yeah. But even if you don't have a ton of experience, you can highlight how you're willing to learn and adapt. Maybe you've taken some online courses or shadowed another manager, or maybe you had a small inventory project at a previous job.
Yeah.
Show them that you're a fast learner and ready to jump into those operational details.
So even if you've never run a whole warehouse, just showing that you understand the basics goes a long way.
Absolutely. It shows initiative.
Okay, so speaking of building a strong team, how do you approach hiring new staff members? It's got to be more than I post the job online, right?
Way more.
Okay.
This is all about finding the right people for your team and for the company culture. It's like putting a puzzle together.
Ah, I like that.
Yeah. You want each piece to fit. Talk about using different ways to find candidates like job boards, employee referrals, maybe even going to industry events. But it's not just about filling a position.
Right.
You want to find people who have the qualities that match the company's values.
Yeah.
Things like amazing customer service skills, a positive attitude, or are passionate about the products you sell.
So it's not just skills, It's about personality, too.
Yeah, that's something that makes someone a great addition.
Now, conflict is just a part of life, especially in retail. How do you handle those situations where personalities clash or tensions run high?
Yeah, this question. Describe a time when you had to manage a conflict between two members of your team. Is testing your conflict resolution skills.
Oh, for sure.
You want to show them that you can listen, understand different perspectives, and then find a solution that works for everyone.
It's about being a mediator, not a dictator.
Exactly. Sometimes the best thing you can do is just help people have a conversation where they both feel heard and can find a compromise.
Okay, last one for this part of our deep dive. What strategies do you use to stay organized and on top of tasks? Because in retail, there's always a million things going on.
Oh, yeah. Tell them about your personal productivity methods. Maybe you have a color-coded calendar or a to-do list app that you love, or maybe you've mastered the art of delegation.
Delegation's a good one.
It is. Just think about how you manage your time, how you prioritize and make sure you meet those deadlines. And hey, it's okay to admit that you're not perfect,
Right.
but you got to show them that you have a system that works.
So it's not about being superhuman. It's about having a plan that keeps things running smoothly.
There we go.
Okay, well, that was a lot. But I think those are some really valuable insights for anyone getting ready for a store manager interview.
I agree.
In our next deep dive, we'll cover some more questions and tips to help you ace that interview. So stay tuned.
Feels good.
All right, so we covered some of those internal challenges that store managers deal with, but now let's talk about reaching those customers out in the world. Tell me about a successful marketing campaign you implemented in the past. So this is where you get to be creative, right?
Yeah, it is. It's a chance to show them you get more than just the day-to-day stuff. You understand how to get customers excited and make those sales happen.
So like what kind of things are we talking about?
Well, did you ever do like a social media contest that just blew up?
Oh yeah, those can be fun.
They can. Or maybe you partnered up with another local business and did some kind of cross-promotion that brought in more foot traffic for both of you.
That's smart.
It is. And don't just tell them what you did. Explain why you did it.
Like the strategy behind it.
Exactly. And you always want to back it up with the numbers.
Oh yeah, results.
Exactly. Did website visits go up 20%? Did a specific product fly off the shelves?
Data is king.
It is.
Yeah.
These days, it really is. So speaking of data,
Ooh, I see where you're going with this.
yeah, the next question is, are you comfortable using data analytics tools to track store performance?
Because it's not just about gut feelings anymore, right?
It's not enough.
Yeah.
You got to be tech savvy and show them you can use data to make smart decisions.
I get that. But does relying too much on data take away from the human side of retail?
That's a good question. It's not about replacing your intuition with some algorithm. It's about using the data to understand your customers better, their behavior, how inventory is flowing, and just your overall store performance.
So you can see what's working and what's not.
Exactly. You can spot trends, figure out where you need to improve, and then make decisions that help everyone have the business and the customer.
It's like finding that balance between data and human connection.
That's it. You got it. Okay, moving on from all the data stuff, let's talk about something more practical. How do you make sure everyone on your team is following those company policies and procedures? Especially with a big team, consistency is key.
Yeah, for sure. So how do you make sure everyone's on the same page?
Well, first, you got to make sure the policies are clear, like crystal clear.
But it's got to be more than just having a handbook, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. You got to do regular training sessions, not just for new hires, but for everyone as a refresher.
Oh, that's a good idea.
It is. And the best thing you can do is lead by example. If they see you following the rules, they're more likely to do it too.
That makes sense.
And don't underestimate the power of positive reinforcement.
Like praising people who are doing things right.
Exactly. Catch them doing something good. And that goes a long way towards building a positive work environment where everyone's happy to follow the rules.
Okay, so we talked about conflict resolution earlier, but let's dig a little deeper. How do you handle an employee whose performance just isn't cutting it?
Ooh, yeah. How do you handle employee discipline issues? This one's a tough one.
It is. You got to find that balance between keeping those standards high and treating people with respect.
Right. The key is to focus on feedback that helps them grow and setting clear expectations.
So it's not about punishment. It's about guiding them to do better.
Exactly. So first, you got to understand what's causing the problem. Is it a lack of training? Are there things going on in their personal life that are affecting their work? Or maybe they're just not a good fit for the role.
And then what?
Once you figure that out, you have a conversation with them, direct but compassionate.
Okay.
You use specific examples, and then you offer support for improvement.
So you're on their side trying to help them improve.
Right. It's about finding solutions that help everyone, the individual and the whole team.
Okay, so no store exists in a vacuum. Do you have any experience working with vendors and suppliers? It seems like building good relationships there can make a huge difference.
It's massive. When you have strong relationships with your vendors, you get your deliveries on time, you can negotiate better prices, and sometimes you can even work together on creative solutions to supply chain problems.
So what are they really looking for when they ask you this question?
They want to see if you're proactive, a good communicator, and if you can build partnerships that benefit everyone.
Oh, okay.
So share some examples of times you negotiated contracts, dealt with delivery issues, or even worked with vendors on special promotions that help both of you.
You're not just placing orders, you're a partner.
That's right. Show them you get the bigger picture and how those vendor relationships can make or break the store.
Okay, last question for this section. How do you keep up with industry trends and changes in technology? Because retail moves so fast, it seems like there's something new every day.
It does. It's a dynamic industry. So they want to know that you're not stuck in the past, that you're learning and embracing those new ideas.
So how do you show them that?
Tell them about the industry publications you read, the conferences you go to, even podcasts like this one.
Oh, good plug.
Yeah. Anything that helps you stay on top of things.
It sounds like learning is a big part of being a successful store manager.
It is, you bet.
So it sounds like you really got to stay ahead of the curve to be a successful store manager. Now let's talk about something that can be kind of intimidating: budgeting.
Yeah.
What is your experience with budgeting and financial forecasting? Does this mean I need an MBA to be a store manager?
No, not at all. But, they do want to see that you get the financial side of running a store. You don't need to be a Wall Street expert or anything,
Right.
but you should know, the basics of budgeting.
So if I haven't managed a whole store budget before, what kind of things should I talk about?
Well, think about any time you had to plan and manage money, even on a smaller scale.
Okay.
Like maybe you were in charge of a department's budget, or maybe you ran a fundraising project. Even just managing your own personal finances shows that you understand income and expenses and planning.
So it's about showing those core skills no matter the situation.
Exactly. All right, let's shift gears a bit and talk about creating a welcoming space for everyone, employees and customers.
Okay.
So this question: what steps do you take to create an inclusive and diverse work environment? Goes beyond just saying you value diversity.
Okay.
Interviewers want to see that you're actually making a space where everyone feels respected and valued and like they can contribute.
So what are some real examples I could give to show I'm committed to inclusion?
Well, think about things you've done or would do to promote diversity, like partnering with local organizations to recruit from different communities, or maybe starting a mentorship program to support employees from different backgrounds.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. You could also mention training programs that address unconscious bias and cultural sensitivity.
So it's about taking a multifaceted approach.
It is. It's about making sure everyone feels like they belong and that they have the chance to succeed. Okay, I know this next question is one that probably no manager loves, but it's got to be addressed. How do you handle employee discipline issues? It's such a tough balance between keeping those standards high and treating people right.
It is. How do you even approach those conversations? They can be so uncomfortable.
Well, first, you really need to figure out what's at the root of the problem. Is it a training issue? Are there things going on in their personal life? Or maybe they're just not the right fit for the role.
And what?
Once you have a clearer picture, you sit down with them and have a direct but compassionate conversation.
Okay.
You got to focus on specific examples and then outline a plan for improvement.
So it's not about punishing them. It's about guiding them.
Exactly. You're trying to find a solution that works for everyone, the individual, and the whole team.
I bet documentation is super important here.
It is. You want to keep track of everything: conversations, performance reviews, any disciplinary actions.
Yeah.
You need to be able to show that you've been fair and transparent.
Okay, we talked about managing employees, but what about those external relationships? Do you have any experience working with vendors and suppliers?
Ah, yes. This is where you show them that you can build strong partnerships that benefit everyone.
Okay.
Think about times when you've negotiated contracts, handled delivery problems, or even worked with vendors on special promotions that boosted sales for both of you.
So you're not just a customer. You're a partner.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You need to show that you understand their business and that your partnership can help them succeed too. Okay, almost there. We've covered so much, but this next one is really important in retail these days. Describe a time when you had to implement a change in the store that was unpopular with some employees. Change is tough, even when it's for the best.
It can be. How do you get people on board when they're resisting?
Well, this question is all about showing off those leadership skills.
Yeah.
How did you guide your team through that transition?
Okay.
Pick a situation where you had to introduce a new policy, a new procedure, or even new technology that people weren't happy about. Focus on how you communicated the change. Did you explain why it was necessary? Did you involve employees in the process to get their feedback and concerns?
So you listen to their concerns.
Yes, but you also got to be firm about the end goal. It's about finding that balance between empathy and being decisive.
Okay, last question for today. This one's a classic. What strategies do you use to maximize profits while still providing quality products and services? It's the eternal struggle, right? Keeping customers happy and keeping the business profitable.
It is. It's a balancing act for sure, but it's a key skill for any store manager. This question is all about showing that you understand how those two things, profitability and customer satisfaction, are connected.
So what are some ways I can show them? I get it.
Well, think about how you've optimized pricing, managed inventory efficiently. Or maybe you've come up with some creative marketing campaigns that drove sales without sacrificing quality. You could also mention things like reducing waste, negotiating good deals with vendors, or investing in training for your employees to boost customer service. It's about finding those little improvements that make a big difference over time.
Wow, we covered a lot today. From motivating employees to handling complaints to navigating the world of finance.
We did. It was a whirlwind tour of everything a store manager has to deal with.
It was. But remember, this is just the beginning. You need to take these insights and think about your own experiences. Then you can tailor your answers to the specific company and job you're going for.
That's right. Do your research, practice your answers, and walk into that interview feeling confident.
You got this. And remember, the best interviews are like conversations.
Yeah.
Just be yourself, be enthusiastic, and let your passion for retail shine through.
Great advice. All right, that's a wrap on this deep dive into the world of store manager interviews. We hope you learned a few things that will help you land your dream job. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep diving deep.